Hello, folks. If you're here for the Homeless Memorial, sit tight. We're trying this a slightly different way to try and bring a little more interactivity, hopefully this time, but if not this time, then at least next time. So, folks will be gathering, the organizers, some down at the site and others possibly from their homes, though that's a little unclear at the moment. And we'll then be feeding this out live to Facebook, which is presumably where most of you are seeing this right now. So sit tight. I could play a tune or something, but I think while I'm waiting for Zach and other organizers to join in, I think we'll hold this spot for the moment. I hope you can bear with me.
Good morning, everyone. It's our privilege to be gathered here on the territory of the Anishinaabeg Confederacy, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Wendat Nation, who was displaced from this territory over generations of wars and colonialism. We acknowledge the resilience of Indigenous nations who continue to show us a path forward, who continue to show us a path of living in right relationship with creation and one another. We acknowledge all the Indigenous peoples that have been displaced and made homeless over generations by policies and practices of genocide. We acknowledge our complicity as the church in genocide, and we ask that in all things we would seek to honor God and honor creation and honor one another. We give thanks to the Indigenous communities, nations, residential school survivors, 60 Scoop survivors, and all survivors who continue to show us a path forward for justice and right relations in our community. In gratitude, we begin this day.
Creator, we give you thanks for all you are and what you bring to us when we are visiting in creation. I'd like to acknowledge this home memorial as we wrap around in our loving and care. See me quick? Now we'll go.
My name is Greg Cook. I'm an outreach worker. It is with deep sadness, deep anxiety, frankly, and fear that I'm here today. I want to thank Auntie Sandra, for her song. I want to thank Lee for her land acknowledgement. Today, we know of 2 deaths that we've added to the homeless memorial. We know that there's others. But first, I want to talk about why we show up here every month on the second Tuesday of each month. We come to acknowledge, to remember, to mourn, to also celebrate the lives of people who have died, who don't have housing here in Toronto. So we want to make sure to do that. So we read people's names, tell stories when we know the stories. We also come to speak out about structural violence, speak about governments that abandon people to die on the street, to witness the suffering that people that don't have housing experience day in, day out, and far too often results in death that's far too young and definitely unjust. Today, I want to talk about a little bit Adam Robinson, who died May 1st. He was only about 36 years old when he died. He died in a fire while trying to survive the elements. At the time of his death, it was almost impossible to get a shelter bed, despite there being outbreaks already in the shelter system. And then on May 8th, we had that first recorded death of a person staying in a shelter who had COVID-19 and died. We're not aware of his name yet, so he's on the memorial as John Doe, but we know that he was in his 50s. I'm going to say the names again, then we'll have a moment of silence. And then afterwards, I'm going to talk about the hundreds of other cases of people in the shelter system who have COVID-19. We know that also there's shelter workers that have it as well. So we want to acknowledge them as well. But first, let's remember those who have died. May 1st, Adam Robinson. May 8th, John Doe. So a moment of silence. Rest in peace and in power. But also I'd like to acknowledge, and we know that the city is reporting way too late. But according to the city statistics, 279 people have been tested positive with COVID-19 in the shelter system at 9 sites. We know at least 5 of those are outbreaks at this point. To kind of have a bit of silence. May they know health soon. May they get all the care they deserve. May their lives be cherished. The government must act. There's thousands of empty hotel rooms available. Frankly, hundreds, if not thousands of people stuck on the street because of government inaction. Something must be done.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this homeless memorial
So-
for the May.
We're not
We'll be ending here. Thank you.
We have one more. Tom Smarta is joining us from home.
Fantastic.
He's
Woo!
a friend of the Homeless Memorial and is often played, and he has a song ready for us, and we'll get him on just now. So hang in.
Okay, fantastic. Well, while we're waiting for Tom,
I'm already, let me know when to go.
okay, Tom. So Tom, before you start, we'll end with Tom's song, and we're also ending by thanking all of our frontline colleagues, all the outreach workers, all the harm reduction workers, all of the workers in the shelter system and in the hospitals, and the PSWs caring for people, and all of the folks in our prison system who are struggling to find mutual aid for one another during this outbreak. So Tom, take us away.
Alrighty, here we go. I don't know what the balance is like. Can you let me know what the balance is like? How's that sound balance-wise?
It's
Great.
Yeah,
Huh?
good enough, Tom.
All right, here, you probably know Don White's. Here's one of his rants I put to music. It's called Jane Doe. You froze to death at 30 below. Your sister's sunstroked at 40 above. No respite, no warming, no cooling center to care or love. In Vancouver, Winnipeg, Calgary, Toronto, Ottawa. RCMP cops and mayors don't give a shit and never did. Nobody stopped to give you a loonie or a dime. In rain, snow, sleet, in the wind or sunshine. Nobody stopped to touch, to say hi or hello. Don't you know, don't you know, don't you know? Crowded shelters turn you away, while mayors and councilors, ministers lied. Brothers, friends shouted loud and long, she's gone, sisters cried and cried. No justice, no peace, no safety, no home. Your kids never found, lost to suicide, while ministers committed genocide. You barely survived third world welfare, no heat, no clean water, no health care. Jane Doe died alone, stigmatized, racialized, traumatized, criminalized, nameless, homeless, no direction home. Nameless, homeless, no direction home. Missing and murdered women and girls on stolen land. No justice, no peace for native bands. Jane Doe, where are you now? Tell us where you must be found. Your spirit rising like a phoenix, like a smoke signal rising from sacred ground. Justice, peace, reconciliation, truth wherever found. Lie deep, deep asleep in Mother Earth. Too scorched, too damaged to give birth. Jane Doe, nameless, homeless, tell us your name. Jane Doe, nameless, homeless, tell us your name. racialized, traumatized, criminalized, nameless, homeless, no direction home. You died alone, stigmatized, racialized, traumatized, criminalized, nameless, homeless, no direction home. Jane Doe, nameless, homeless, tell us your name. Jane Doe, nameless, homeless, tell us your name. 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 Tell us your name.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, folks. Thank you to Don Whites for writing the lyrics, and I added the music.
Thanks, Tom. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Thank you, everyone, and your involvement matters. Stay in there and see you next month.